salaries is shown there along with the associated fringes. So I'm not sure if you all want to, as you go through these, if you want to do your consideration so that staff will know how to proceed on further preparation of the budget, either making your minds up today or putting it off into the future.
Put it on.
Yeah, I think we need to,
Are there questions for Ms. Conwell?
Which one though, full-time or part-time?
I said full-time.
Okay. You, Mr. King, how you feel about it? You same?
I guess we're going to a whole budget, and that's $30,000. Maybe we need to see what else will come before us before we make a decision on that.
What's the difference? You said per hour, right? Okay, and 30,000 a year full-time. So you said going from 12?
The 12,500 is for 2 part-time assistant registrars, so it's just 1,000 hours.
So you're talking about hiring 2 more part-time?
No,
Or
sir.
increasing?
I'd like to hire 1 full-time assistant registrar.
Yes.
If that's not to your likings, would we be able to increase the part-time line item from 12,500 to 25,000?
Okay.
One or the other.
Yeah, I like to,
Increase the
I like to put it off, but we're gonna do one or the other.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna do one or the other, but we won't say right now.
I'm sorry.
I said, we'll put it off for now. We'll do one or the other.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Our next appointment this afternoon is not Mr. Pope. Mr. Pope had a change in his budget. There was a reduction of $75,000, which meant it decreased his bottom line and his request tremendously, so he really did not fall into the category of groups that you are meeting with today. We have asked for Ms. Slate to fill his slot so that we did not have a long waiting period, and I think Ms. Slate is here to speak to you regarding the request from the Virginia Growth Alliance.
I have a memo prepared, if I can.
Okay.
It's easier to see the numbers
Right.
in here. Greensville County has been a member of the Virginia Growth Alliance, which is a regional economic development marketing group, since its inception in 2012. Since that time, the organization has lost and gained additional members. Currently, there are 4 committed localities going into FY22 and 2 that are still considering their membership options. In February of 2021, the executive director has resigned and that position remains open. Due to these changes, the board has been meeting about once a month to discuss the future of the organization, and the top priorities are the funding for the organization and the rehire of an executive director and how to go about that process. The current membership rate is $1 per capita. Greensville County has been paying just over $12,000 a year since its inception in 2012. We've not raised the dues. However, at $1 a capita, with the loss of a couple of members, we won't be able to sustain a budget at that price. The board met Thursday of last week and has recommended a new rate structure for their members based on population. And you see the chart on your memo. Greensville County's rate would fall into the 12,001 to 15,000 population rate, which is a rate of $20,000 a year. This is actually a little bit more than what we had put in the budget originally, but it is what the board agreed to. Each member on the board agreed to go back to their jurisdiction and ask for a rate that would fall in line with this new structure.
So we're paying 12 and going to 20.
We're paying a little, it's 12,008.
It's $12,243 currently and has been that amount for the past 4 years.
We've been very fortunate to sustain the operations with grant funding through Tobacco Commission and Department of Housing and Community Development. Those grants are starting to dwindle, and we knew that we were going to need to increase our membership dues as the grants were dwindling down. So we had anticipated this. We were hoping that we could do it at $1.50 per capita, but it was easier to do a structure like this than to base it all on per capita.
Could you all speak in your microphone that so Ms. Glenda can hear you and Natalie can hear you, please?
I'm okay with it.
So am I.
Okay, is there a motion then that we increase her request to $20,000 and approve it as the Virginia Growth Alliance requested?
I make the motion that we increase it to 20.
Roll call vote.
I'm going to need a second.
You gonna need a second? I second.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Thank you. This is a very important organization, and they appreciate you continuing to support it and be a part of it.
Thank you, Ms. White. Our next appointment is Ms. Martha Swinson. She is the Commissioner of Revenue. Her departmental budget number is 12310, and her information can be found behind tab D in your supplemental information.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
First of all, I am going to pass these field sheets out. December 20th, I got information from Stonewall Technologies, who is our real estate appraisal firm that we input our real estate with. And they had mentioned a one-time fee of $1,500 in order for us to get a new field sheet with more information on it and to get the pictures of the houses on it. We have the printer that can do this, but we don't have the program. And therefore, I'm asking for us to get that. I'm going to show you what we've got here. The first sheet would be the new sheet. The second one is the sheet that we have now. I didn't have it
Thank
in
you,
my
Martha.
budget, mainly because I didn't find out about it until December 20th. The budget was due only the 6th of December.
So Martha, where would this fall within your budget? Is this a professional service or,
Well, it would be professional because it has to do with our real estate that we do have in our records, and if anybody needs information and asks for a card, this has a whole lot more information than the old one does. The old one is the second sheet, and you can see there's no picture, and there is information, but it's not like on the sheet that has the picture of the house on it. And that would be a one-time fee of $1,500. I think it would benefit us. We would be able to do emailing right from the real estate agent's computer. We wouldn't have to make a copy of it, go to our copier, and send it. And there are a lot of other options that we can use with that also. So I just wanted to bring that up. The girl at the computer company had mentioned that maybe if we had COVID money, we could use that. Now, I don't know what we've got as far as that in that fund, but it would be nice to have this program. We do have the printer. When I came before the board last year, I asked to get the printer because we were having a general reassessment, and we wanted to have cards like this. Well, at the time, I didn't know that there was going to be an additional $1,500 to get the program to use the printer that we've got. So I don't have to get a printer, but I just need the program in order for us to be able to run this.
Well, what I can say about this right here is well overdue. Back in 2003, I used to be a realtor, and this is how we used to pull up property, basically, throughout most city and Tidewater area. So I'm for it.
Well, thank you. Okay, now, I'm also requesting a copier. The copier we have, if you'll notice, the second sheet that I ran off has a line. That line has been there for a year. I have gotten Ryan to come down and try to get the line out. We have tried ourselves, we try to clean it and get the line out, and we can't. So I asked Ryan if he would give us a quote on a copier, because we always go through him. He can either get it through Amazon or someplace where he can get the cheapest printer.
Is that a line from the printer when you print paper? When you print, you got a straight line?
Yes, our copier.
Have they replaced the glass?
Well,
Or do any type of?
no, we haven't replaced the glass. I don't know, the copier that we got was not very expensive at the time. It's only been like 5 years ago that I got this copier. The first one that I got in 2000 when I became commissioner, that one we paid about $1,500 for it. And that copier lasted until about 5 years ago. But we paid more for it. Now, this copier was a cheaper model, and we don't have a maintenance contract on it or anything because it was cheaper. Well, now we're just having the problem with that line. And to get a glass for it may cost even more than the copier cost.
But y'all haven't gotten an estimate?
We have not, no, sir. If you want me to do that, I will
Yes.
do that.
I like if you get an estimate,
Okay.
because most of the time it's just something stuck on that glass.
Oh, now,
Maybe.
we have had a serviceman come out and look at it. And he would work on the line, and it would maybe not be there for maybe a week or so, and the line comes right back.
Okay.
So it's not like something that you can get rid of. We have tried. The girls clean it all the time. We've had Ryan and his crew come down and try to get the line out, and it will not go away. So I don't know what it is.
If
But
I may add in something as well, Ms. Swinson, I don't know if you've had if you've talked with Ryan or not possibly about it, but you may want to look at copier similar to what finance uses. They're able to do color and black and white copies with that.
Okay.
And in the long run, it's actually cheaper. They do pay a monthly service contract on it, but the way it's set up, all of your ink cartridges and everything come with that service contract, and you can
Okay.
print as many copies as you want to print,
Okay.
and it will not affect the service contracts. That might be something you want to look at as far as that would save you money on ink, and it may save you some money on having to use some of the other printers as much
Right.
with that option. So that may be something you want to look at and see is how much it would cost to add in the RICO copier
Okay,
for
well,
that.
I will do that.
Do we buy
Yeah,
our copiers or do we lease them?
I think you're talking about a printer that can actually make copies, right?
That makes
She's talking about a
copies.
printer. We do lease
copier.
the copiers, the large copiers like this in the admin building on the first floor and second floor, in finance department, water and sewer. We pay a monthly fee on those, and those are usually unlimited copies. And that's what I was recommending. Maybe Ms. Swinson can check with Mr. Ernie and see if that's an option, because in the long run, it may be cheaper because you wouldn't have to pay any maintenance costs as far as generally somebody coming out to look at it. And also, you wouldn't have to buy cartridges every month. Usually those cartridges, that cost is included in the monthly fee, and you can print an unlimited amount of copies, and all we're being
Okay.
charged for really would be the paper.
Well, that sounds good. I'll check with Mr. Ernie and see about that. Okay, and did y'all have any questions about anything else that I have here? Now, I had asked for a full-time employee. If I had the full-time employee, I wouldn't need the part-time, because I would teach this one everything that we do in our office as a full-time employee. Right now, when I have the part-timers, all they do basically is the filing. They help us with assessing as far as looking in the computer, and if there are assessments on vehicles and things, they put it on the paper copy, which we keep. Now, some people have wondered, why do you have a paper copy? Well, we have a lot of questions from taxpayers as to cars. I didn't have that car. I got rid of it 2 years ago. Well, we can go to our paper copy and see where they signed it, the year that they gave the list, and we also have a DMV copy that shows that they did have it. And then a lot of them will say, well, maybe so, maybe that's when I did get rid of it. So that has saved us money in the past, having our paper copies. At this point, as far as, as long as I'm there, we will have the paper copies, because you would not believe the questions and all that we have about the personal property list. They come in, they sign them, it's dated, so we see when they come in, if it's late, we've got the late fee on there, and we've got it coded as late, so that helps us out a whole lot. And with a full-time employee, we would be able to train her to do what all of the other full-time employees do. Of course, she would have to do some filing and things like that, but she would become a full-time employee to where she would learn all of the functions of the office.
What's the salary?
The salary that I have here is, it would be the Deputy 1, Grade 5, Step 1, at a starting salary of $25,512, plus the benefits. Now, if that you would decide that you did not want me to have the full-time employee, right now, from the estimate that I have gotten from the state, they will give me funds to help me to fund a part-time employee. And with that, the county pays half and the state pays half of the salary of that employee. And usually I have to get like 2 high school girls or girls that are in college or anyone that's in college or high school that are willing to come and work. And it's flexible hours in my office, because if they are taking college classes and they need to leave, or they need to have a day or 2 off or whatever, they're very flexible. I don't say you have to work 29 hours a week. You know, it's flexible for them.
So this would be the first full-time employee?
This would be the
Yes.
first full, now, I had her years ago. Before 2008, I had a full-time employee that worked with me. There were 4 of us in the office. It was me, my chief deputy, and then the 2 employees and 1 other. So there were 5 of us in the office working full-time.
5.
Yes, sir, including me.
So now.
And then we had the budget cuts, so she was cut because of the budget. But we really need a full-time employee because, and I hate to say this, but I'm not going to be here forever, you know. I love my job, and I don't plan on leaving anytime soon, but we need to have someone that can do the duties so it won't be such a hardship on the girls that are there.
Now, if we get the full-time person, you will no longer have the part-time people?
That's right.
Okay.
Oh, it'd just be y'all 2, no part-timers at all?
There wouldn't be any no, sir, wouldn't have any part-time. The full-timer would do the work that I've got for my part-timers to do.
Okay.
Let me understand,
Which-
it'd be you and one other person?
What?
Okay, you was asking, how many full-time people in the office right now?
Right now, there's 4,
Okay, 4.
me and 3 others.
So you're asking for a 5th person?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm gonna say this, and I hope you laugh when I say this. You could hire a guy, right?
I could what?
I said you could hire a guy, because you said.
Oh, yeah, I
you said
can.
Linda.
If there's
I
someone
know-
that comes
I know you were
and-
speaking. I know you were
and-
speaking, okay? I hope you laughed at it because you kept saying us and the girls.
Well, that's because it's us and the girls right now. You know,
Okay.
it's only us.
Yeah.
Because I've never had
Okay,
a male apply.
okay.
So, you know, I mean, it's out there whenever I do have anything as far as part-time or anything, but no male has ever applied before,
Okay.
no. And, all right, and then the travel and training, and then the copier, I talked about that already. And then, of course, you know, I go to training with my deputies, and I have that listed. Hopefully, we will be able to go this year. Last year, we couldn't go. And from what I understand, what I have here for hotel rooms is really not even going to cover it. I heard this morning on the news, someone was going to go to a function years ago, not years ago, but year before last, that they paid $150 a night, and now it went up to $300 to recover from the COVID. So, you know, I mean, I've got this in my budget, and I'm satisfied with that. And we may have to not let everybody go to the meetings and whatever we have. Right now, it's all virtual, over Zoom, which is working out good, you know, and I don't know whether that's going to keep up or what's going to happen. As far as the office supplies and things, I did ask for quite a bit more, but the reason for that was because I'm supposed to be getting 3 more computers in my office, 1 for the real estate room, and 2 for the 2 walk-up windows as they come in. Right now, we don't have anybody coming in. But it's supposed to be set up to where we've got the protective glass and 2 places for people to come in. And from what Ryan has said, I will be getting 2 computers there. So if I get the computers there, therefore I'm going to need more cartridges. No, I really won't need the cartridges that much because we're going to be using the same printers that we've got, the desktop printers. So I really won't need a printer for that. But I just asked for more because I just felt like with the expansion of our office and more things that we're going to be doing, that I needed the supplies. So, but are there any questions?
I just have one more question. The
Yeah.
full-time employee, has the comp board said they're gonna, reimburse us any for that full?
They will not.
Okay.
Now, they will for the part-time.
Yeah,
I
that's
will
what
be
I was
honest
gonna
with you,
ask.
they will do that.
I heard you say that earlier, I just
Mm-hmm.
wondering was it, okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions about anything? And if you decide just on the part-time, I thank you for that. If you decide on the full-time, I thank you for that. Thank you for all of your consideration. And we'll just work together with what we've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next appointment is Ms. Husky. She's at the Geographic Information Systems Department. It is Department 81700 in your printout and also tab MM in your supplemental information.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So the major increase request in my budget this year was for a new wide format printer. Our current wide format printer is 7 years old and it's very outdated and it has a slow response time. It takes longer to print the color maps and the ink stays dry more than it actually stays operational, even with printing multiple times per week. So that results in wasted time with me repetitively cleaning the print heads. Rico has a new updated version of our current wide format printer. It includes an extra print head, which would double the speed of printing. The new printer also has a cheaper monthly and yearly maintenance cost than our current outdated one. Our current monthly maintenance contract is $105 per month, which equals $1,260 per year. The new printer that I have requested would have a monthly maintenance contract cost of $73 per month, equaling $876 per year. So that's actually a savings of $384 a year. And it would also allow GIS to utilize a modern, updated wide format printer. And that's basically the increase in my budget. It's all for the printer.
You don't want to have to buy any cartridges with you. That come with the agreement?
It's part of our monthly maintenance contract, service, ink, all of that stuff.
I think it's good.
Did you have any
Yeah.
other questions?
I think it's good.
Okay. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You all want to make a decision or move on?
We should make a decision, you want to?
I think, I make the motion that we go with the new printer.
In a second.
Say your motion one more time, I'm sorry.
I make the motion that we purchase a
Rico.
new printer, go with the new printer. For
Second.
GIS.
It's been moved in second that we go with the new printer. All in favor with a roll call vote?
Mr. Brown? Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Mr. Kane? Mrs. Astrop?
Aye.
All right. I see that we're a little bit ahead of schedule, and I do not think all 340 is here yet, but I see Ms. Drew. Ms. Drew, would you like to come on up? Ms. Drew is here to speak to the Sussex County Regional Housing Program. It's department, it shows under Department 81300 on your budgetary as regional program.
All right, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to come before you to present once again about the Housing Choice Voucher Program that we administer in the County of Sussex and Greensville, Emporia, and Surrey County. And we have administered this program since 1993 to the residents of Greensville with various other programs relating to housing needs through the voucher program. So the purpose of the Housing Choice Voucher Program is to assist low to moderate income households in attaining safe, sanitary, decent, affordable housing. Rental unit must meet the HUD's housing quality standards, and so we are required to do inspections in the county to make sure that these units are meeting those minimum standards at least once a year. Now, some of the other benefits of the program is that landlords will receive a steady rental income because their housing units are occupied by our participants. In addition, our program provides, we go the extra mile and coordinate supportive services that the families may need, and in conjunction with the local agencies and providers that are here in Greensville County and the housing coordinator here. With families having their housing needs met, participants are now positioned and empowered to take control of their lives by focusing on training, education, employment, and saving to reach other goals that they may have set towards self-sufficiency and becoming productive citizens once again. So since 2003, Sussex County gives preference to people who live or work in Sussex. And so what we're doing today or this year, since the last few years, we've kind of like came with a regional approach, a partnership agreement. And we're requesting your partnership with the County of Sussex annually. And this partnership will be utilized, of course, to cover activities and tasks associated with providing housing assistance and services to the residents of Greensville. We have submitted a letter, a draft agreement to the county administrator for review and comment. So with that agreement, it's also one-page agreement that says that we're going to partner on a regional basis with the County of Greensville, Surrey, Sussex, and the City of Emporia. Okay. So are there any questions that you may have for me at this time?
Have you all had any residents from Greensville County to go through this program so far?
Yes, yes. We currently have, we were able to take applications in the middle of the COVID pandemic in June 6, 2020, and we had over 1,000 families to apply. Of the applicants, there are 178 applicants on the waiting list that lives in the county of Greensville and Emporia. Now, the families that are participating, we have 36 families in Greensville. And these families tend to cross over from Greensville to Emporia. So there's 32 families living in Emporia right now and 36 in Greensville. And the 178 on the waiting list. Another benefit of the program is that landlords receive a HAP payment straight from the Virginia Housing Office, paid directly to their checking account or bank account. And so currently we are looking at the county of Greensville for, from January to December, about $20,000 comes back into the community as HAP payments to landlords. And a smaller amount comes back to the county to assist the families with their utilities. I think these were some of the questions that during our meetings, these are some of the things that were asked. So I thank you again, once again, for allowing me to come and to share, to speak with you. And hopefully we can, this year we can officially kick this partnership off or create this partnership between Sussex, Greensville, Emporia, and the county of Surrey. Any questions?
Questions for Ms. Strode?
How much are the other counties providing for the program?
So what we're requesting that every locality give us a minimum of $5,000 a year, and that's to help offset. I think the last year we requested 10,000, but we crunched the numbers and we said 5,000 from each locality would break Sussex County even. And this agreement will be for 12 months. So after the first 12 months, we can come back again before you, and we can do it over. You can just have it roll over every year at 5,000.
You said we have 36 families are benefiting right now, right?
I'm sorry, say that again?
36 families that are benefiting from the county,
Yes, 36 families are participating from the county.
and then you have a wait list. You
In the
said,
waiting list, we have 178 families.
okay, how do they get from that list to being helped?
Okay, we have a three-tier priority system set up, and currently, without a partnership, we are giving preference to people who live or work in Sussex. So that's how we pull them from the waiting list based upon where they live or work. Once we get the agreement, maybe we can look at, just having it across the board, first come, first serve.
And how long have y'all been helping Greenville County residents?
This has been since 2003. Since 2003, was it 19? Let me look back and make sure my notes here. Let's see, since 1993. Since 1993. But we put the preference in place in 2003. So prior to the preference being put in place, we would assist families first come, first serve. And some of you may have been on the board back then, I'm not sure, but we came to the county in 2003, around about that time, and we couldn't get any partnership, anything going, so that's why we elected to do the preference Sussex.
Any more comments?
I would say this, I'd like to make a motion that we provide the $5,000. They've been helping us for all these years. And I think we should, as a county, take in consideration our citizens that they're helping and give something back to the program.
I second that.
Been moved in second. We take this program, all in favor with a roll call vote?
Mrs. Astroff? Aye. Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Ms. Strode, can you have someone provide us with an agreement effective July 1
Yes,
for the new budget year so that that can be handled
Yes.
before the date gets here?
yes, thank you so very much.
Thank you for coming. Our next appointment is Mr. Michael Stoltz. He's with the Virginia Legal Aid Society. His request can be found in Department 68-100, line item 5673, and the supplemental information is behind tab FF. Mr. Stoltz?
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
So as she said, my name is Michael Stoltz. I am the managing attorney of the Virginia Legal Aid Society office that handles Greensville County. You have a a short packet in there with numbers and such that I won't go back over, but with masks and everything, I don't know who was here last year, so I'll give you a little bit about what we do. We provide civil legal assistance for folks who are low income who can't afford it. So when I say civil, you're not talking about criminal, you're not talking about traffic. Pretty much everything else is in that civil context. Right now, obviously, evictions are sort of at the height of everyone's mind. That is something we're spending a lot of our time on. But also consumer issues like garnishments, medical debt, car title loans, things like that, along with sort of our everyday public benefits, SNAP, food stamps, TANF, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, along with family issues, so divorce, custody, child support, spousal support, those sorts of things. We do everything from provide the initial resource through court representation, depending on the type of case and what we have availability at that point. We have 3 lawyers covering 7 cities and counties. That includes Greensville County and essentially East. So we are consistently out there helping members of the community. The further you get west from our office, obviously we have a visibility issue in all of our offices. The further you get from the local office, the less people know about us, the less people realize that we're here to serve them. We have, in the last about 6 months, worked on trying to correct that out here. We've entered into 2 new agreements with what we call memorandums of understanding with the Greensville Commonwealth's Attorney's Office and the Family Violence and Sexual Assault Unit. Those are geared toward assisting victims of domestic violence. That provides a referral system to where the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office and the Family Violence Unit can use a simple 1-page form that allows us to contact the client and them to get us their information as quickly as possible. So these protective orders are quick turnarounds. So you have 2 weeks from the expiration of your initial protective order until the hearing on your permanent order. So those are quick turnaround. That helps a lot. So that you're aware, we provide all of the legal assistance we can in person. Even those that can't, we have our law line. So that is a 1-800 number. It is a statewide number. It will direct you to the right legal aid. We provide that advice over the phone instantly. So there's not a waiting game to talk to a lawyer. So that referral system essentially allows you to sort of jump that line and get a call back from us, as opposed to having to either wait on hold or put your number in for what we call a callback. So folks who have limited minutes with low income, they're not sitting on hold for 5 minutes or an hour, depending on the busyness of the line. They can get a call back and their place is saved in line. So we provide all of that information. That is just the folks that qualify for our services. Obviously, that's 200% of the federal poverty level and below in most cases. Our domestic violence grant is higher than that, and certain other grants allow for a little higher of a threshold. I will point out, as we will readily admit, the numbers in Greensville County are lower. If you include Emporia, obviously that goes up, but we did narrow these numbers strictly to Greensville County. Those are the numbers that are captured within the system. I would say that those numbers are, when we're talking about residents of the county, I suspect they are higher. We provide on our website probably 75 plus packets of legal information, which are available to anyone who goes to our website. They're updated regularly as the laws change. We also provide online trainings. So we do trainings both for the civilian population, our potential clients, and for our community partners, the Up Center, and all of the other organizations that would like our training. And that's on what we do, or a particular area of law that they would like the training on. So I just wanted to give you a little bit more of a sort of a whole round approach of what we're doing. So you're not just seeing that there are 8 folks that have helped 4 cases. My plan as the manager was to do more outreach in this area. The pandemic has sort of put the kibosh on large public gatherings. We have switched to doing more online-based gatherings as much as we can through our Facebook page and through our mailings, but that is still a goal of mine, is to get out here a little bit more. As you guys may know, we used to have an office, closed in 2012, right on Main Street in Emporia, across from the courthouse. That was closed due to budgetary reasons, so now Suffolk serves this area. So we know that there's always a visibility issue. If you're not here every single day, people forget that we serve the area, and we're working on that. And what we're asking for is just a little over $5,000, and it's just sort of a buy-in to our mission, right? That's not going to fund an entire attorney position, but what we do is we ask all of the cities and counties that we serve to contribute usually a small amount based on the poverty population of that county, and sort of our ask to sort of buy into our mission and to show the citizens, hey, look, we like this, this mission, and we're buying in. So I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have, you ladies and gentlemen have.
I'm not sure if you said the percentage, but how many people you serve in Greensville County? Within the last year, how many?
There's only been 8 folks that had opened cases with us that we served in Greensville.
Are you all planning to open an office back up in Emporia?
We do not have the funding to do it. Opening an office and staffing it with an attorney is pretty expensive. That office was sold a number of years ago right there on Main Street. Now, I will say that I have been out here a decent amount, and we're talking about major impact work that we do when we get to come out here to do it. What we find in these more rural counties, and housing is sort of my area of expertise, is landlords not knowing what the rules are. And even if they know what the rules are, they don't like to follow them. Being a landlord myself, I feel like I'm allowed to say that. I had a case in General District Court right here. I'm not sure if it was in the county or in the city, where a landlord cut a lady's water off, and there's a quick motion we file. He refused to turn the water back on, and the judge threw him in jail for 10 days. That is the sort of thing that we're fighting in all of our jurisdictions. And as we get further into this pandemic now, the breaking news this morning was that the CDC eviction moratorium was continued until the end of June. There are some changes to that we're still evaluating, but we expect as this expires, we're going to start to see a large wave of evictions. And there's a program out there called the RRP program, that's a rent relief program, provided money from the state, that can pay landlords all the back rent through April of last year and 3 months ahead. And so we've sort of taken the initiative and trying to get as much of that information out to the landlords as we can, because they can get paid through the state. It's not a loan, and these folks can stay in their houses. So that's another thing that we're trying to push and to educate both our clients and landlords on.
Any additional questions for Mr. Stoltz?
All righty, well, I thank you guys for your consideration, and it's good to see you all again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
So y'all like to vote on it? I'm good with it. Okay, I'll make a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve the increase for legal aid.
Okay, his request was for $5,081.
$5,000.
Anybody second?
You said 5,000 or 5,081?
5,000.
5,081.
Second.
Been moved and second. Okay, we'll approve the 5,081. All in favor with a roll call vote?
Mrs. Astraw?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Thank you. The next appointment, we're a little ahead of schedule, but I see Mr. Stephen Rowland is here. Mr. Rowland is here on behalf of the Jarrett Volunteer Fire Department. Their supplemental information and requests can be found behind tab R and the requested amount is $37,500. Mr. Rowland, come forward.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good, how are you all?
How you doing?
Good. I've got a couple handouts here.
Thank you.
Basically, what you guys have in front of you are our call-to-date statuses per year, going back 2019, 2020, and then to date. On the back page, it basically does 2017 through 2020, separating Greensville Fire, Greensville EMS, Sussex Fire, Sussex EMS. As you can see, from 2017, we ran 383 total calls. 133 of them were Greensville EMS, 49 were Greensville Fire, 85 were Sussex EMS, 115 were Sussex Fire. 2018, 431 total calls, 189 Greensville EMS, 33 Greensville Fire, 104 Sussex EMS, 104 Sussex Fire. 2019, 295 total fires, 122 Greensville EMS, 28 Greensville Fire, 74 Sussex EMS, 73 Sussex Fire. 2020, 390 calls, 160 Greensville EMS, 32 Greensville Fire, 87 Sussex EMS, and 107 Sussex Fire. What we're battling, as you can see, the EMS calls more than outweigh the fire calls. We're living in an aging community. You know, it's more calls every day for EMS. If you notice on the handout, the other three handouts on the per year, where it shows you the time of day at the very bottom of each one. So daytime is 6 in the morning till 6 at night. In 2019, it was 210 during the day to 102 at night. And it cut it off on the other one, but basically on percentages, it was 44% per day, 56% at night. 2020 was 55% during the day, 45% during the night. And so far to date, we're 65% during the day, 35% at night this year. Now, with the problem with that goes, as far as membership to answer these calls, nobody works in Jarrett. There's nowhere for them to work. You know, in the past, we had Georgia Pacific, a lot of mom and pop businesses that would allow volunteers to leave. We don't have that. The only thing there are 2 gas stations, a hardware store, a bank, a post office, and Boys Head. That's it. Going back to the reason I'm here to up our budget from you guys, basically, each year we do 2 major fundraisers, and we raise about $20,000. With COVID, with all the restrictions, one of the fundraisers is a reverse raffle. We do a meal. We couldn't have that this year because of the social distancing. And the other fundraiser in the fall is an oyster roast. Between those two fundraisers, we usually raise about $20,000. We just felt that we had to go up, or try to go up, ask you guys for more help. And as well, we're asking the other localities that we serve for more help. So that's pretty much, you know, the reason for our going up or asking for additional funding.
Stephen, is there still an existing mutual aid agreement between Greensville and Jarrett?
I don't know.
I know at one time there was one.
I've never seen it, but I'm not saying that there's not one. It could be one on file, and if it is, I'm sure James Lacey Wharf would have it.
What was that?
A mutual aid agreement.
To assist them for Greensville?
And I'm looking at what you have is you have Southampton, Dinwiddie, Sussex. And how much fund did you get from those locales?
Well, Dinwiddie and Southampton is only on a call-as-needed basis. We don't get any funding from Dinwiddie or Southampton.
Well, what about Sussex?
Sussex, we get $8,000 per year.
Correct, okay. And that was what I remember. And I think what we gave last year versus what you're gonna probably get from them this year is not gonna amount to a whole lot again. I'm thinking in the last few years, you've only been getting $8,000 from Sussex, but yes, it's still, I'm looking at this list, we're doing a whole lot of service over in Sussex. So what are y'all asking Sussex for this year?
We ask them for more than we ask y'all for every year, and it falls on deaf ears.
So maybe you need to go and ask them again, don't let it fall on deaf ears, and come back and see us and see what you get.
Well, Mr. Kane, I'll be honest with you. I run a business, and I've got 58 other members that work and run businesses, and we do it for free. And I'm taking time out of my business to be here today for this department, as well as every call that I answer and all the fundraisers that I do and all of the work that I do around the fire station to try to keep it up.
How much were you asking for?
7,500 more, 37,500.
7,000 more than we did last year.
Increase.
How much did we do last year?
30.
30?
It's right here on this paper. Okay, it went from 30 to 37,500.
But we also gave them $52,000 of renovation and stuff last year.
And you also use our building for a polling station and neighborhood watch, and Jarrett Recreation Association meets there.
Yeah, but I'm understanding, I do a lot of volunteer work too, but I would love to see, before I make a decision, what Sussex is gonna do for y'all. I mean, you know, I understand the position that you in, and you're doing volunteer work, but yet and still that volunteer work we're doing in Sussex. So the problem is not with you, with Sussex. So you know, to let them know, I don't see why we need to keep serving somebody, and every year they don't want to give no funding to you.
Can you tell me how to solve it?
Huh?
Can you tell me how to solve it? Because
Yeah,
I'm looking for answers.
The way, I can tell you how to solve it, just don't service it.
Okay?
You know?
Okay?
Yeah, that'd be one way to solve it. I know you don't want to do that. You know, but that's you let them know. When you go before them, you can fund, or you don't service you. And don't call us. You know?
How would you receive that?
How would I receive that? I receive it very well.
Okay.
I mean, if they don't want to fund,
Okay.
you're volunteering your time. But yet and still, they want you to come and volunteer your time, but don't want to give you no funds. If I was you, I would consider that unfair to me.
Oh, believe me, I think it's really unfair. I think it's unfair to every citizen in Sussex County.
Yeah, my beef is not against you.
Can I interrupt a minute? I mean, from our class we had last Wednesday, y'all recall, one of the main topics of funding was our fire and rescue EMT, as well as our schools. So I think with this increase is what we're seeing with general increases everywhere. I make the motion that we approve the $7,500 increase.
A second.
Been moved in second, that we do the increase. All in favor with a roll call vote?
Mrs. A. Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Abstain.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Stephen.
As long as we keep doing it, something ain't working anyway.
Our next appointment hasn't arrived yet. I don't know if you all want to take a little mini break before we finish up the last two or three or not, but hopefully he'll be here in a few minutes. We got slightly ahead of our schedule. Should be here at 4:10, maybe a little earlier.
This stuff right here,
They
they
have
got this money because the city of employees the fiscal agent for it. They got that money.
They got it?
Yeah,
The $70,000?
the 70,000, they have it. The city of employees the fiscal agent.
I just got this today. It was sent over to us to distribute to you all, but I hope you're aware of those things.
I'm very aware,
Okay.
firsthand.
It helps to be knowledgeable.
Two more?
Yes, our next appointment actually was coming from out of town, and hopefully he'll be here in a few minutes, so you never know how long people are going to talk. The ones that you don't expect to talk do. Those that you thought you would get the long story, you get a short story, so we schedule the best we can.
So much time is that we got? How many more minutes? When is supposed to be here?
He's supposed to be here at 4:10. Hopefully he'll be a few minutes early.
Okay.
Who's the next appointment? Who's the next?
It's
How many more we got left?
Okay.
Do you have a list of who? Let me look at my package. Okay. I got the package. Oh, okay. This is what I got right here. This is it right there. Okay. Okay, that's a problem. Thank you. Okay. So we have, what, one more person coming forward? Two more. Okay. Okay. Doctor, the doctor? Okay, they have it, okay. Okay, yeah.
They got that.
Well, you just mention it when you get here.
They got
Yeah.
that grant. What are they asking for from us? That's good.
That's the right.
I see that Mr. Jordan is here for the Greensville County Training School. Mr. Jordan, would you like to come on up? We can go ahead and take care of you. Our other appointment has not yet arrived. The Greensville County Training School's information is found in Department 68100. It's also in your supplemental information behind tab FF. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is McKinley Jordan, 2850 Cecil Drive in Port Virginia, and I would like to start off by saying thanks to the Board of Supervisors for all of the help that you have provided our project in the past. We've been moving very slow, and everyone knows basically the reason behind that. But by the same token, what you'll probably see in the report and what Ms. Dunn will also tell you is that we still continue to move slowly on the project. We are staying in touch with our contractor, the brick mason, and Mr. Robert Smith to get things done. And I'll be meeting with Mr. Gunn again to draw up the contract for the inside. Boy, this thing is tough, this math. For to draw up the, some drawing for to start working on the interior of the two buildings that we're doing. But our major thing right now is to get with Mr. Bass, where we'll start working on our stage and the project for outside. So at this time, because of our limited time, I'll let Ms. Dunn tell you exactly what's in our report.
Good evening, I'm Marva Dunn, the Secretary of the Greensville County Training School, Citizens United to Preserve the Greensville County Training School. I'm not going to, you have a copy of your report, but you may not have had it long enough to really read over it. But you do have it, so I'm not going to insult you by reading word for word what's in the report. I'll just try to point out the highlights. Of course, Mr. Jordan mentioned that we're moving slow. Funding is the reason for that, because even with COVID-19, we were able to raise some money, as you will see in this report. And we were able to get some things accomplished. Mr. Vatz, who's our masonry, was able to continue and complete some masonry work that he was doing, covering that old black tar that you used to see. Mr. Hill, and you should have a copy of the second building that Mr. Hill and his contractors have completed the roofing. And Mr. Smith was able to move some of the debris before we really got the stay-at-home message. And then when things lightened up a little, they went back and did work as their schedule allowed them to, because especially Mr. Bass, he donates his time. So he definitely has to do it around his schedule as to when he's not contracting to do something else. Also, in that first paragraph, you will see that one of our fundraising events that we had started was to try to get each board member to ask 50 people for $20. We had to stop that because of COVID, but now that the restrictions are less restrictive, you can believe that we're going to be coming to each one of you all, and if you have your $20, we'll take it today. The goal, our next goal is to try to finish the outdoor stage and the park before the end of the summer. Mr. Jordan will be meeting with Mr. Gunn, who is our architecture, to draw up plans for the design of both of the buildings inside. We are still working to try to get the $70,000 check that we appeared in the Independent Messenger in November of 2019 with Delegate Tyler. However, we have not yet received these funds. The Director of Historical Resources reached out to me in, I believe it was January or December of 2020. And as a result, we are working, Mr. Jordan and I are working directly with her. We're getting a little closer to getting it, because at the last City Council meeting, they did vote to be our fiscal agent, which is what the Department of Historical Resources told us had to be done, that the city employee would be our fiscal agent. So they voted to do that, so that's a step closer. If you have questions, comments, suggestions, feel free to ask us. If not, I believe we asked for
20,000.
but we would take double that amount. Thank you very much.
But we do, again, appreciate all that you've done. We would encourage you all to come by and look. And I don't think you mentioned the marker, but we want to thank Ms. Beverly Hawthorne for, she was instrumental in getting us a marker there. So we are now actually on the Civil Rights Trail, which means there might be another avenue for us getting some money. And by the same token, there's some chance, if by any chance the county see a means of us getting a grant, and you can help us with that endeavor, we would appreciate that aside from the funds that you might even give us. Thank
Because
you so
you can
much.
direct us and where the grant is, we will do the paperwork.
I will say this, I am working with a group, and hopefully we can get something for y'all. There are some works that I'm working with an organization, okay? I am definitely doing that. And I go by the building all the time, and I see all of the progress that we're making, so I'm very pleased with that also.
Thank you so much. Like I say, in spite of slow funding, we are still moving along because I was raised where the word quit is not in the word quit and I can't do is not part of my vocabulary.
A
Thank
winner
you very
never
much.
quit.
Quit,
Oh,
and
no.
I can't do.
No, I said a winner never quit and a quitter never wins.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all. Okay. You can see if Mr. Sales is staying in that fund. I'm trying to get chapter 70.
You said they got the 70,000?
They don't have a settlement. It's in the budget. Now that the city has agreed to be their fiscal agent, the money should turn over very soon.
Yeah, that should be enough to do what they need to do, right? Should be enough. Yeah. With some left over, maybe.
So what are we doing with our request they made for the 20,000?
It's my personal opinion, now that they've got the 70, the city has agreed to be their fiscal agent. The money is in the budget, so that money will be going to the city soon for them to have access to. I think we should just level fund them, same thing we gave them last year.
I agree.
I agree with that. So we need to make the motion.
Please.
I move we level fund, same as last year.
Second.
Been moved and second that we level fund, same as last year. All in favor with a roll call vote?
Mrs. Astroff?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
No.
Mr. Conwell?
Thank you. Mr. Cyphers is going to see if Dr. Sales has arrived yet.
The city.
But the problem that we have with this is, and I've asked, is the land this size. But I think the building this size, but nobody was giving me documentation to tell me that the land is this size, you can get grant as a land. But I know, nobody's ever, I've asked this probably over the last.
Registrar.
Who?
But you also remember.
Yeah, the register, that was it.
Well, you leave it.
They didn't make any decision.
We're gonna decide whether to give part-time or full-time person.
Well, we'll check, I've been with this project
Yeah,
for the last 15, 20 years.
we just make our
And
mind
we've
which one, we're gonna do
literally
one or the other.
But we can't never find any paper or documentation where when it came with,
We do one or the other.
historical site, that
Whichever
the land
we
itself
decide.
is this size. That's the piece we're missing. Yeah.
More money, okay, so.
So I'm looking into
it's
the,
there.
I missed that.
Oh, we're talking about the treasurer.
Oh.
We'll do either or, whichever we decide, part-time or the full-time person, for 25,000, and the other one, more hours, right, 12?
well, the thing you have to look about that is you go part-time, that don't come from my pocket.
No, it come from the county, but it can come from the comp
But if
board.
it's full-time, it's come from the
That
county.
was for the commissioner.
Yeah, it can come from the comp board if it's part-time,
That's
right?
what I'm trying to say, if she get a
Fine.
full-time worker, then all the money gonna come from us.
Yeah, that's right, right? So either one, whichever we decide, do it full-time or part-time.
We do the part-time.
To do the part-time, we'd be like breaking even.
Yeah, compo's gonna give you the 15,000.
Right, so I think we should do the part-time right now, thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just that we all wasn't sure at the time, so.
Right, yeah,
Think about
right,
it.
yeah.
Part-time as we discussed it right now, be good. So we only got one, that's it, one more left.
Dr. Sales? Hello. I'm right here. Come right on up to the podium. I'm hiding behind these shields.
I see.
Thank you for coming this afternoon. Dr. Sales is here to speak regarding the requested funds for the Area Agency on Aging. His information is found in your supplemental book behind tab DD, and his request for the year is $8,000.
Good afternoon. I'm Harold Sills, the Executive Director of the Crater District Area Agency on Aging. We are an agency that services the Planning District 19, which includes the city of Petersburg, Colonial Heights, Hopewell, Emporia, and the counties of Dinwiddie, Prince George, Sussex, Surrey, and Greensville County. Our agency is over 45 years old. We provide services for seniors and disabled persons. This year, we're requesting $8,000 from the County of Greensville to assist with our programs. I think I sent you a copy of the people that received services last year from our agency in Greenville County. But to recap, last year we provided 1,267 meals. We do a Meals on Wheels program. We do medical transportation, counseling. We do case management, we do homemaker services, we do legal services, and we do weatherization services. We also provide the Virginia Insurance aid program. Last year, again, we served 1,267 meals to the residents in Greenville County. We provided 450 units of transportation, and we provided 9 legal services. I'm just hitting on the ones that actually cost us money that we do for the citizens here. Last year, the meal cost was $5,385.76. Our legal services was $675. The space that we rent in Greenville County to provide services for the seniors was $2,220. Our homemaker services was $945. And we provide a weatherization service. That's home repair and stuff for people. We did 2 complexes here in Greenville County, which was $10,280, totaling $19,844.75. Now, our medical transportation, last year we provided 168 units. If someone was to use their Medicaid or medical transportation, they charge anywhere from $2.50 to $3 a mile. We'll take somebody from this area to Petersburg, which will cost them probably $20 round trip. And if we took them from here, we occasionally have to take them to MCV or Virginia Commonwealth Health Systems or the VA hospital. And that's probably a $35 round trip ticket. So those are some of the services that we do offer. We do provide other services that, most of our services are a sliding scale or no fee. If a senior says we can't afford to pay it, we don't deny any services. So we do the services anyway. So that's a gamut of what we do, at least for the Greenville County folks. Last year, we provided over close to 80,000 encounters for our region, which is the Planning 19 district. Are there any questions?
Well, I was seeing your documentation, Greensville, you left the S off between the N and the G.
I did, I'm sorry. I know somebody called me, I said Greenville County, and he said, where's that at? And I said, down there in Port, it says Greensville. So if I did, I'm sorry, I left that off on that.
I don't have a problem with the $8,000.
I'd like to make a motion that we provide the $8,000 for the service.
Second.
It's been moved in second to provide $8,000. All in favor with a roll call vote?
Mrs. A-Straw?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Thank you, Dr. Sales.
And these are you're all the elected officials from the area.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I'm gonna be sending another request, not for money, but for our board, we have a person representing each area. And I think the person's term is gonna be up. So we're gonna be sending the request. I guess we'll send it to the county administrator to appoint somebody for our board. But we're looking forward to working again with you. You know, with the COVID, our services are increasing more and more. I talked about in legal, last year we only served 9 people the whole year. And since October 1st, we've already served 23 people from this area. So just to let you know, we are doing work, and we appreciate what you did today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We had a motion to adjourn.
You do need one.
I move that we adjourn.
To Wednesday,
To
March
Wednesday next,
Wednesday, March 31st at 6 o'clock.
Wednesday, March 31st.
I second.
It's been moved in second. We adjourn to Wednesday, 31st. All in favor, roll call vote.
Mrs. Astroff?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Kane? Mr. Conwell?
Aye.